Welcome to NASCAR on NBC, post-Talladega edition. A lot to talk about, but Jeff, I think we have to talk about one of the most famous sports figures in the world who owns the team, goes to victory lane. I'm talking Jumpman, Michael Jordan, with his own logo on the hood, goes to victory lane with his driver, Tyler Reddick. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it's a big deal. To have Michael Jordan around the racetrack and so excited about racing. It's really cool. His post-race interview was magic. He thanked Denny for wrecking because that put them in position to win the race. Denny, obviously the co-owner, but driving for Joe Gibbs. That was pretty funny. And the excitement, I think MJ and certainly Tyler Reddick and everybody at 2311 recognize how hard it is to win these races. But, 2311, it's no surprise that they're winning races. And I think in a relatively short time, they become a threat for playoff wins, a threat for championships. This team quickly has been built. Denny and Michael have done a great job. I give a lot of credit to Denny and his leadership. But this team overall, they're going to be someone you have to deal with for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Reddick's son, Bo, in the hands of Michael Jordan. He has no idea, but if this picture isn't on his dorm room wall when he goes to college, then he's totally missed it, because that's going to be one to remember. I want to talk a little bit about MJ, though, and you mentioned it. What I think he reminded me was how hard it is to win races. We both knew that in our careers, right? That it's the pinnacle, right? Winning a race any week is such a huge deal. But yet on the television side, I don't want to say that we kind of move past it too quickly, but in times I think we do. And to see Michael's enthusiasm, how much he loves motorsport, to see Reddick's enthusiasm climbing the fence after the race, it was a good reminder to me as an analyst that, we talk about points and championships and all these other things. Well, maybe what we need to remind ourselves is how hard it is to win each and every Sunday.
Yeah, look, it's really hard. And you have to do everything right. You have to catch some breaks along the way. The investment that it takes, not only financially, but emotionally, is exceptionally high. And I think that's part of what you see in every victory lane celebration is the people know how much of their soul that they've left on the table to go get that win. It's not what we see on Sunday is a very, very small portion of the work that goes into it. That's the end of the game is on Sunday. But what started years and years ago is what produced the win. And the participants know it. It's just so difficult to win. Think about this. So, only 3 drivers in this race got stage points in both stages. Only 3. Only 15 drivers got stage points, period. So when you look at it like that, everybody talks about how anybody can win these races. Can they? Right. Can they really? It's hard to win Daytona. It's hard to win Talladega. It takes a certain skill set. It takes the right strategy. It takes the right move at the right time. And when you really look into it, yeah, it is more opportunity for more people, but that doesn't mean they're easy to win.
Well, your transition couldn't be better. The skill set, the opportunity, the gamble. Well, what about the guys that lost, right? For every winner, there has to be someone who made the wrong move at the wrong time. And for me, I actually think it was the right move at the right time for Brad Keselowski. I thought today was the day he was going to go back to victory lane, but this time in a car he owned. Down the backstretch, and I mean surgically, pushes that 34 out to the lead on purpose, gets himself clear, and I thought at that point, this is Brad K's race to win. Michael, big block high, big block low, ends up getting spun off the nose of the 6, I think, or maybe even spun himself. It's hard to tell from the replays. I guess start with the blocks. What was your opinion on the 34? Easy now to say too much, and I thought it was kind of too much when it was happening. I think Michael's going to learn a lot. What was your thought about that whole last mile of racing?
Well, it all links back to the conversation we were just having before, is that when you have a chance to win one of these races, these drivers will do things that ordinary people won't do. And, you wouldn't consider doing this. But Mike McDowell, knowing to win this race, he's going to have to aggressively block. And did he take it too far? Yeah, he took it too far. He admitted it after the race that it was his responsibility. But at the same time, if he doesn't block like that, he's not going to win. And he knows that. So he put himself in position and this team in position to go to the playoffs, to have a chance to win a championship. This is it. This is a season and an opportunity to win a championship right here on the front straightaway at Talladega. And he knows it. And so, he went for it. He did. He got super aggressive. He got too aggressive for sure. But I can understand why. I've been on both sides of that where I blocked way more than I should have. And I've also been on the side where I didn't block like I should have, and I didn't win the race. So, yeah, Michael made a mistake, but what are you going to do? This kind of racing lends itself to those kind of mistakes. And if Michael McDowell drove for me, when he got out of the infield care center, I'd give him a hug and I'd say, thank you for doing everything you know to do to win a race for me and my race team.
Well, Talladega in general had a different look, a different feel than Talladega's in the past. We're going to get into all of this, but it was really a conversation about fuel strategy, saving fuel, and what it does. Let's just break down the why before we get into the results and the countermeasures. 60 lap stages, everyone has to come for fuel. So basically, at any other racetrack other than Daytona and Talladega, if I slow down, if I save gas, how do you save gas? You go slow. If I slow down, the next thing I know, you have a huge lead. At Daytona and Talladega, the pace of the field is really only determined by the front 4 or 5, 6 cars. So everyone else throughout the field can ride around part throttle. At times, we saw 3, 4 seconds off the pace of saving fuel. The whole concept is so on your gas only stop, you can be on pit road for less time. You can cycle to the front at the end of the stages and score the stage points. That's the strategy. That's the theory. Jeff, you were there in person. On TV, it was still 2 and 3 wide. How about up there above the grandstands? You actually FaceTimed me from your perch. It was a great looking spot. Looking out the window, could you tell they were saving gas? I mean, did it have a different feel?
You could tell just because there were some times that a driver would say, okay, I need to get my track position for this strategy to work. And you would see them take off and they could, go way faster than the field, try to find themselves a hole. And so you saw that for 3/4 of the race. Other than that, not so much. I do want to say this, you did a great job of explaining why they're doing it, but how you do it still matters. It didn't work for everybody, right? The Penske drivers, in my eyes, they did it best. They consistently found a way to be where they needed to be at the end of stage 1, which was the goal, right? Get stage points in each stage and then set yourself up to have track position at the end of the race. That was the whole thing. And the Penske guys, they seem to do it better than most. But you had to have a certain amount of track position to make it work. You couldn't be running 35th and pull a strategy. You still had to be running, had to have yourself in position. So the driver understanding the concept, putting himself in position so he could take advantage of the strategy, you could see that playing out. And I found that interesting. And I talked to some drivers after the race, and they thought that was interesting too, because once everybody got lined up, they're all wide open. It's hard to make something happen. When they were saving fuel, when you're going to make the move, how do you make the move and get track position, but then still save enough fuel? There was a ton of skill set involved in that people don't recognize. I understand why people don't want to watch. I get it. Somebody running around 60% throttle, I get it. But that doesn't mean it's not without a skill set and without a game plan behind it. And not everybody executed it as well as it could be executed.
Well, for every game plan, I believe that we're going to see a countermeasure. The garage continues to adjust, and that's what we saw in the 3rd stage, which was the Toyota group, who basically said, if everybody's going to go down road A, we're going down road B. We are coming to pit road. We're going to take full, fill up with fuel so mileage is no longer a challenge for us, and then we're going to go out and we're going to make lap time. And I think that's important because in years past, we have seen this. But then the drivers go out, they line up single file, they cruise around, and you hope, use my air quotes, you hope that you're faster. Well, Toyota, it was clear that they knew they had to be faster, and that aggression caused this. Pushing, shoving, beating, banging in a single file line. We would have never seen aggressive pushing 8 cars single file around Talladega. This time we do. There, Jones takes a huge hit in the outside wall. Jeff, at home, it blew my mind that they wrecked running single file, but the more I digested it overnight, I think this is communication from the pit box. They know the plan is we have gone with plan B, which means we have to go as fast as possible. That's where the aggression came from.
Yeah, that's right. And let's real quick. Eric Jones was, he went to the NFL Care Center. He was released. And that was a huge impact. You said it. He then said, hey man, this has gotten worse, or it's not gotten better. And went back to the infield care center. They took him to the local hospital. He was then evaluated and released late last night. So that's good news. Let's hope that continues to go in the right direction. But yes, Steve, as the pack, was still riding around some saving fuel. They're running 2 or 3 seconds off the pace. The Toyotas, for this strategy to work, they have to be making lap time. So if they can be running 2 seconds faster than the pack for X amount of laps, when the pack pits, they should have come out in front of the whole pack and had themselves a track position at the right time that everyone that we were talked about, how you got it in stage 1, how you got it in stage 2. And I thought it was a really smart play. And it's easy to look at that and say, God, what a bunch of dummies. They wrecked in this situation. But when you start pushing the way that they're pushing, you see they all get misaligned. The second they got misaligned, that's when the problem happened. And so how do you get misaligned? Gosh, it doesn't seem very difficult. It is very difficult because the guy in front of you moves, it moves your car. The guy behind you moves, it moves your car. There's bumps. There's all kinds of things going on the racetrack. It's not as easy as they make it look. And the one car moving out of line unexpectedly can start this chaos. And that's what happened. But it happened because they were trying to go fast. They were trying to make lap time. And it's just an example of what looks like riding around. You know, we're just riding around in a single file thing. It's no big deal. It is a big deal. And most of the wrecks that we see at the super speedways are because of bad pushes. That's normally what we see, and that's what we saw in this wreck.
Well, it definitely was a good reminder of just how difficult that is. Well, it won't be any easier next weekend as the Cup Series heads to the Monster. Next up for NASCAR, the Monster Mile in Dover.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.